I don't know what's happening with farmers this year. Growing green onions, radishes, cabbages, and celery all result in losses. Even corn isn't in demand as before. Agricultural products just aren't valuable anymore, and the prices for pigs, cows, and sheep are continuously falling.
The blogger highlighted the struggles of Chinese farmers. When it comes to selling agricultural products, our voices as common people don't count. Even the prices of fertilizers and pesticides are beyond our control. A video on Douyin captures a poignant encounter between a blogger and an elderly farmer discarding celery. The farmer explained, "I got up at 4 in the morning to go to the market but couldn't sell anything." When asked by the blogger if he had to throw away the unsold produce, the farmer replied, "What else can I do? There's still more at home." Asked if he considered bringing it back, the farmer responded, "Bringing it home makes my wife upset." Another video illustrates the harsh realities of life for Chinese farmers. In it, an elderly farmer tells the blogger that he sells his cabbages at a mere 1 yuan for 6 caddies, which is equivalent to selling 3 kilograms of cabbage for only 13 cents. The blogger lamented how such low prices make it difficult for them to survive. Additionally, a video shows that this year's cabbage price at the farm gate was only 4 cents per jin, about half a kilogram, meaning 50 kilograms of cabbage sold for as little as 57 cents. Here, a female farmer selling cabbages was asked by a blogger about the price per jin. She responded that it cost 4 fen, 1/100th of a yuan. When inquired about the yield per mu, around 806 square yards, she revealed that 1 mu produces 10,000 jin, equating to 5,000 kilograms. This amounts to an income of $57 per mu, while the production cost is $113 per mu, not accounting for the farmer's labor. Essentially, for every mu of cabbage grown and sold, a loss of $56 is incurred. A netizen from Binzhou, Shandong Province, shared their observations online, depicting the grim situation of local farmers. They wrote, "Life here is incredibly tough. Those who grow vegetables in greenhouses, like eggplants, tomatoes, and peppers, earn mere pennies, hardly enough to cover the cost of cultivation. It's not just greenhouse farmers suffering losses. Open field farmers are in the same boat. My neighbor cultivated 400 mu of celery, but the revenue from the sales didn't even cover the cost of harvesting. They ended up burying the unsold celery back into the field, incurring a loss of over 1 million yuan, which is approximately $140,000. He is now depressed. This year, whether growing vegetables or animal farming, everyone is losing money. Large-scale farmers have lost millions of yuan, and smaller ones have lost tens of thousands. Both cultivators and breeders are struggling to make ends meet. Life for the common folk is incredibly difficult this year. We all hope that next year will be slightly better financially. Otherwise, survival will be challenging." In current China, not only are farmers suffering losses, but major pork industry giants have also been incurring heavy losses in recent years. Winter, typically the peak season for pork consumption, has seen plummeting pork prices this year, exacerbating the debt situation for Chinese pig farming enterprises over the past 2 years. Efforts by the authorities to symbolically purchase official reserves to support pork prices have proven futile. The most active live pig futures on the Dalian Commodity Exchange have fallen by 7.3% since the end of November, dropping to about $1,950 per ton, the lowest point in nearly 3 years. In the past 3 months alone, the price of live pigs has dropped by 15%, falling to $2.03 per kilogram. The average spot price of live pigs is far below the cost price, a first in nearly a decade. China, which consumes half of the world's pork, faced a significant drop of 40% in its pig population following the outbreak of African swine fever in 2018. Analysts believe the current predicament of China's pig farming industry is the result of the government's encouragement to significantly increase the number of breeding sows to stabilize pork prices. This gave incentive to large agricultural conglomerates to rapidly enter and modernize pig farming, with both large and small enterprises expanding their scale excessively. As China's economy languishes and demand decreases in recent years, intense competition in pork sales has led to a continuous drop in pig prices. The persistent threat of African swine fever to all pig farms in China has significantly increased the cost for breeders, and further losses are expected next year. This has put many pig farm owners under pressure to downsize or sell their farms. Currently, some farmers, unable to bear the losses, have started emptying their pig farms. This phenomenon is just the tip of the iceberg of China's civilian life. Most developed countries experienced a period of consumption boom after lifting COVID-19 restrictions. During the pandemic, people had been frugal, but afterwards, they resumed various types of spending and consumption. Various businesses also seized the opportunity to meet people's needs. As a result, many central banks around the world have been working hard to curb inflation. However, this situation of inflation did not occur in China. Instead, a gradual trend of deflation has emerged. Authorities have been struggling with weak prices for most of the year, which has become a growing concern for the Chinese government. A report from city analysts in mid-December stated that under the triple hit of domestic food price adjustments, international oil price adjustments, and weak domestic demand, China's deflationary situation is deepening. They added that signs of weakness are now spreading from commodities to services. Unlike inflation, deflation is characterized by a continuous, self-sustaining decline in goods and services. Deflation indicates that goods are becoming cheaper, which seems beneficial to consumers but poses a threat to the economy. Consumers and companies tend to delay purchases or investments in hopes of further price drops. This can further slow the economy. Companies may reduce output, hire less, or even lay off employees, and reduce prices further to clear inventory, creating a vicious cycle. On December 9th, China's National Bureau of Statistics released data for China's inflation rate in November. The National Consumer Price Index fell 0.5% year-on-year and month-on-month, marking the largest drop in 3 years. The Producer Price Index fell 3% year-on-year and 0.3% month-on-month. These downward trends signal that China is currently grappling with deflation, a situation that is intensifying. If both the year-on-year and month-on-month comparisons of the National Consumer Price Index and the Industrial Production Price Index are declining, it is definitely not good news. This indicates that deflation is spreading nationwide, and without a doubt, China's economy has entered a prolonged period of downturn. Jonathan Barnard, chief economist at JLL, also believes that the weak CPI is a warning of continued sluggish demand. If China is to achieve more sustainable and balanced growth, this should be a focus of Chinese policy. On December 5th, Moody's issued a downgrade warning for China's credit rating, adjusting China's outlook from stable to negative. Moody's cited the cost of rescuing local governments, state-owned enterprises, and controlling the real estate crisis as drags on the Chinese economy. Subsequently, Moody's adjusted the outlook for 18 Chinese companies and 8 Chinese banks from stable to negative. In response to the current economic situation, the Central Political Bureau meeting, held on December 8th, stated intentions to stimulate domestic demand and promote economic recovery in 2024. This was followed by the government's Economic Work Conference on December 11th to 12th in Beijing, which reiterated the contents of the December 8th Politburo meeting. The conference stressed maintaining a low profile and acknowledged the need to overcome various difficulties and challenges, including insufficient effective demand, overcapacity in some industries, weak social expectations, numerous risk factors, and bottlenecks in the domestic economic cycle. They also noted the increasing complexity, severity, and uncertainty of the external environment. Despite outlining numerous insurmountable adverse factors, the meeting offered no concrete solutions to internal difficulties or ways to change external hardships. Nonetheless, it claimed that favorable conditions outweigh the adverse factors, and that the economy's basic trend of recovery and long-term improvement remains unchanged, urging for a boost in confidence. The meeting listed numerous adverse factors, but nothing about favorable conditions. It makes one wonder where this confidence would come from. Liang Xiaohua, a former chief compliance officer of a Chinese asset management company, commented on the situation. This is an interrelated impact. Deflation leads to a decrease in income. Reduced income leads to decreased purchasing power. With less purchasing power, you can't buy more products. When products don't sell, their prices drop further, creating a vicious cycle that sends the economy spiraling down or even into a possible collapse. That's the state we're in right now. He emphasized that for a market economy to flourish, it is essential to have a stable legal framework, a secure environment for conducting business, supportive governmental policies, and unrestricted movement of both capital and human resources. However, he believes that with all these factors, including political ones, the situation in 2024 could be even more stringent. He said there's no foundation or conditions for economic development or recovery. Columnist Wang He also noted that many countries usually issue shopping vouchers or cash to the public to stimulate consumption in the face of deflation, but the Chinese government is reluctant to do so. Instead, Beijing has been printing more money to counter the devaluation of the yuan. but the fund's whereabouts are unclear and have not stimulated the economy. He said, "The Chinese market is distorted and the government is acting recklessly. Therefore, a chaotic market combined with an arbitrary regime has led to the entire Chinese economy being in a state of turmoil and uncertainty." Renowned Hong Kong writer Yan Chun-go also pointed out the systemic policy errors and structural difficulties within the Chinese economy. He stated that the fundamental policy mistake is the government's ambition to replace the market economy with a state-dominated economy, which began under Hu and Wen's administration and culminated under Xi Jinping. Yan also mentioned significant obstacles to reviving economic vitality, including overdevelopment in urban and rural areas, where local governments have exhausted resources for fundraising and corruption. Additionally, China is burdened with real estate, local debt, massive unemployment, and tense foreign relations. The government's fixation on relentless development has led to a neglect of emerging problems, allowing them to escalate to a point where they are now too overwhelming to effectively address. Given these factors, China's economy in 2024 might continue to decline, plunging deeper into the abyss, and the lives of the Chinese people could become even more challenging.